Please help me welcome Julie Delene.
Hi. I'm glad to be here. Is this working? Good. Yes, I'm Julie Delene, and gosh, there's a lot to share about my background. I think the most fun thing that people like is that I was an amateur competitor in ballroom dance, and then I fell into teaching ballroom dance, and lo and behold, it fed everything that I was doing. So I learned I've been in leadership and team building for a long time, consulting, and as you'll see on the dance floor and any partner dance, leadership and teamwork are vital, and not only that, they're embodied. So you have to embody it and move with it. So everything we are talking about with breath work and centering, if we don't include our body in the movements that we're doing, we lose out on some of our empowered energy. So we're starting to claim some of that. So I'm going to talk a little bit, though, about from wounds to wisdom in the fact that our bodies hold so much of our wounds, and how do we start to bring that along and breathe into it and release it and open it up and start to move as one. So COVID has been tough. At the beginning, I actually liked it. I'm introverted, so I really enjoyed turning it all off, giving myself a break, taking a pause. I thought it was going to be 6 months, not even. I didn't think it was going to be 6 months. Here we are 2 years later, and the impact has been huge on our community. I lost my parents last year. Both of them passed, and traveling that was really difficult. It was not an easy process. And so there's some wounds, and there's wounds that came up along the way. As a society, I think everything is being revealed as wounds. Right now, we have so many, it's unbelievable. It's actually, I have to be very mindful that I don't over-engage or overstimulate myself so that I can really digest everything and stay present. So, how do we move forward together in the midst of that? That's kind of the question right now. I got to figure this out. So, I've been actually saying this before the pandemic happened. We're in a moment of transformation. And I mean that because so many things are off, so many systems are off, so many wounds are being shown, so many issues are being revealed. So there's some real wounds that we need to pay attention to, and we can't just gloss over it. How do we engage that? There's old systems that are falling apart. There's social pain that's causing divisions. How has COVID affected you? Have you felt some of the stress and the trauma? Isolation? Yes, and that's part of the transformation opportunity, right? But resetting everything in your life, right? Everything is being reset. Yes. And that's the optimist in us, right? We are the resetting, being able to, can we transform? Maybe we want to engage some of these great comments from...
Yeah, if you can hold for the mic, we'll get all this on audio for the YouTube.
Being an introvert, basically, it can be a challenge because then you can get addicted to being at home and not having to go anywhere.
Yes.
And not having to meet anybody. It's easy to do that. Yeah.
I know, it's true. And still, just a little bit of that, I don't know if you've felt this, but when I come out into crowds, it's like, oh my God, there's so many people. So, yeah, it's kind of a shock. Did you want to grab her?
I'm a nurse. I've been busier than I could ever imagine being in my life.
Yes, thank you.
And I've seen many, many people die of COVID.
And there's our wounds, a lot of them. Exactly, right. Whew. Did you have something more to say? Okay. Yeah, so here we are. And just take that in for a moment. I mean, we have to acknowledge the wounds, and we have to acknowledge the wounds inside of us. Because if we don't start to heal that and acknowledge it within ourselves, we can't start to heal it in the movements going forward. So there is opportunity. It is a reset. But I don't know if you've heard this. The vagus nerve is also referred to the soul's nerve. So the vagus nerve gets set off from stress and trauma. And so if we look at that as the soul's nerve, that we're in this big transformative time. So we're in this dark night of the soul as a whole large group. And I hope that doesn't trigger some more pain. It's just to bring up the realization of what's going on and to acknowledge it. So how do we heal and how do we create from our whole interconnected self? So I want to invite you right now to focus primarily, 50% at least, on your breathing process. Just breathing in and breathing out. Every time I do this in a group, by the way, as soon as I do that, it's like, I can relax. Because I start to remember it as well. So Move is one. I founded it in 1998. I founded it in 1998 because in 95, I found the miracle of the breath. And like ballroom dance, the miracle of the breath was the most transformative thing I ever found. It completely shifted me. I was a consultant, and I learned how to properly breathe. I learned the miracle of the breath. I started in mindfulness. I started that whole practice. And I got very excited about it. And I went on a road show starting to talk about the miracle of the breath. And at that time, it just wasn't totally understood. And I told my parents I have to quit consulting and teach breathing. And they were like, what? But now here we are. There's so much wisdom around us with yoga, qigong, meditations, mindfulness. We have the tools. We have it. So we're ready. So we've been gearing up for these moments right now. I have a bachelor's in computer science, so I've come a long way from that. But I like to think as a system. I like to think systematically. And the breath is what I would think of as our electricity. So you have to turn the breath on, turn the electricity on for the hardware, the body, and then the software, our brain, to work most effectively. So all those together create a great system. So there's many different ways I've seen this referred to. Body, brain, and breath. Or in a macro view, it's heaven energy, earth energy, and humanity energy. In Buddhism, I've heard of it as three refuges: the awakened mind, the Dhamma, that which is right now, and the Sangha, the community. So paying attention to those three and knowing that we need to integrate and move as one. So I like to do a little movement around that just to help us ground in. So if you'll just take your hands and go straight up, feel the palms of the hands, you can even look up, and breathe in, and feeling that higher brain, that higher wisdom, that higher energy coming in. And the breath is kind of a transformer, that electricity, bringing it in. And then we reach down to the earth with our palms, and we ground it in. And feel how that feels to your body, reaching down to your feet. The feet planted, grounded. In the palms of your hand reaching down into the earth. Notice how that energy feels. Breathe that in. And then bring it into your centers. I'm going to talk about 3 centers, but we're using 2 right now. Our heart center and our abdomen, our gut. Just breathe that into your gut and to your heart. These are 2 very important centers. And from this centered place, your theme for this month, then you can just gently reach out to other people through the palms of your hand. You don't have to touch, but you're just spreading and sending your energy through the palms of your hands. Whew. It's lovely, huh? Bringing that all into our body and coming through our hands. How did that feel? Really grounding. Really simple, too. I mean, just whoosh, bringing that in, centering, feeling that connection. Nice movement. So we move then from that me coming in connection with yourself to how do we then connect to the we. And then we'll talk about how that integrates and moves out to a big system. Because that's what we're at. If we're going to make transformation, we've got to get to the systemic position. But it really starts from the me position. So, moving in rhythm with your heart. Many different ways to do that. Many ways to pay attention to that. But I want you to focus a little bit on feeling and sensing your heart. Feeling and sensing the rhythm of your heart. In the Miracle of the Breath training, when we were talking about the breath, getting it moving, opening it up, we finally would land on the most important part, which was the heartbeat. And that when you start to acknowledge the heartbeat, there's a rhythm there, and that you can breathe somewhat in rhythm with it. It's not easy because there's 2 different rhythms going on. But if you start to pay attention to both of them, they start to sync up. So there's a rhythm that happens, and it's easier for you to feel centered and at one with yourself. So paying attention to that heartbeat. So let's just take a moment, too, to do that. I like to there's multiple ways. You can either tap on your legs and feel the heartbeat. You're kind of mimicking a heartbeat. You can also just feel your pulse. Or you can feel your pulse here. And then just feel the connection to the breathing process. So staying 50% inside while my voice is still coming to you. Let my voice come to you. You're on the fence between the inside and the outside. Watching your heartbeat. And breathing with that. And you don't have to be too concerned about how it lines up. It's simply that you are paying attention to it. And then we'll talk to it for a minute. Hello, my heart. Thank you for working so hard. You bring me nourishment throughout my whole body. I'm grateful. I love you. I don't always listen to you, but I'm listening to you now. So pay attention to listening to your heart. What does it want to say? Allowing the room to hear. And it's okay if it feels a little anxious or it feels a little tired. It's okay. Just want to be with it right now. I want to read a little poem while you can still listen to your heartbeat and stay inside. Billy Joel wrote a song, and I changed some of the words, but I think you'll know what it is. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. Billy Joel wrote a song called "And So It Goes." And so just pay attention to your heart. I also like to just put a couple of fingers on my breastbone here. Make the connection with the heart. So, in every heart, there is a room, a sanctuary, safe and strong, to heal the wounds from troubles past and all the ones that come along. So this is why we choose today, unite our hearts to guide our way. And so it goes, and so it goes. And you're the only one who knows. You know your heart. Listen to your heart. Whew, I wish I could sing. I wish I had enough confidence to sing. I do sing, but I really wish there was somebody who could come up and sing that song with me, because it runs through my head, and especially when I start saying those words, it's just a beautiful, beautiful song. As a dance teacher, I've been able to prepare people for their weddings and father and daughter dances, and I believe somebody brought that song to me, and it really stuck as, wow, this is just beautiful, beautiful song. So here we are, tapping into our heart, and then we start to connect our head, heart, hips, and then we extend our hands. So in dance, if we don't get all that vertical all lined up before we start to engage with somebody, there just isn't the energy, We can't have that sense of presence and connection with the partner. And what happens if that is going on in a ballroom dance is somebody's carrying somebody. So the partnership is imbalanced. So the important part is for each person to align vertically and to feel that connection vertically before they start to engage their hands. So feeling that head, heart, hips. feeling that connection first. And those three centers, again, heaven, earth, and humanity. Those three centers are how we need to move around to make ourselves feel completely embodied. Head, heart, hips. Head, heart, hips, hands. So as you do that, aligning the vertical and connecting with some of the wisdom in your heart and the wisdom in your hips, opening those parts up, then we have a lot more energy to move and connect. And we get into what, I don't know if you've read My Grandmother's Hands, about how the trauma is locked in our bodies. He's local, Resma, and the more that we can unlock that wisdom, then we move from dirty pain to clean pain, meaning we're owning our pain, we're acknowledging our pain, and we can feel it in our body, and we can start to open it up, and then we can connect and join with others. So easy, again, easier said than done, right? But it's fun to be able to do something fun together and move together and find that connection in the hips, find the connection in your heart. So in ballroom dance, as I said, there's three centers: our heart, our hips, and then our head. And mostly when people are trying to dance, they're in their heads. They're trying to figure it out, But if they open this up, and when you do that, you're exposing your heart, Feels a little uncomfortable. But I had so many coaching experiences in ballroom dance that would make me open my heart in order for me to dance. And if I wasn't, I'd be called on it immediately. And it was like a life lesson every single time. It's like, I have some fear. I have something that's scaring me, and I close up. I start to close up. So how do I keep that open? So just taking a moment to feel that connection. All right. So moving from the me then to the we. How do we move from this me to we? There's something called orders of love. And has anyone done some family constellation work? It's beautiful work. And this is what some of it's about. So in order for us to move forward, we may have to back up and to acknowledge our family, acknowledge our ancestors, the people behind us. And there's a lot there to untangle, a lot. A lot of pain, a lot of trauma, a lot of things from immigration. There's a lot of things that have not been acknowledged. So just to be able to take a look at that and find a way to be grateful to the people who came together and gave you life. The simplicity of that just really helps to expand the energy behind us as we have ancestors. So moving from the me to we, that was my experience as I started to do a lot more constellation work, especially through this loss of my parents. It brought up all types of wounds and history that I wasn't aware of until you are pausing with them in that death process and you find things out. And you're wanting to help them move on, wanting to help them move to a state where they feel out of pain, out of their bodies. So I like to think of it as a big heart bubble that we can step into and just acknowledge our ancestors, acknowledge the people behind us. And you don't always have to acknowledge the people behind you that are your ancestors. You can acknowledge your teachers, all the people that came before you, before me, that brought me my wisdom. My Miracle the Breath teacher, Master Lin, my Spring Forest Qigong teacher, my ballroom dance teachers, my feng shui teacher. I mean, there's so many people that have brought me wisdom, that have brought together some of what I'm doing and how I move and how I dance and how I share with the people I make contact with. So just having a moment to take some recognition of that. So again, taking a moment to feel like you're stepping into a big heart bubble. And you can do any kind of integration right now to tap, or you can tap on your heart directly. And close your eyes and feel that connection. And then welcome in your teachers, your parents, the people that came behind you, who brought you life, who brought you wisdom. Feeling gratitude for the very life that you have in this moment. You are the living and breathing essence of all that came before. And feeling that gratitude, and I'm listening to you now. So again, we're feeling that through our hearts. And there can be some pain there, so you just want to be gentle. But may the wounding that came before us, may it be seen, may it be heard, may we find some healing right now in this moment through the integration of our head, heart, hands, and hips. May we feel whole, and may our wisdom in this moment, from all that we know, all the wisdom that we have, may we bring that forward. All right, thank you all for that part. That's some deep work, working with your heart. So now we're going to move it a little bit more into some movement and some more fun. But we need to acknowledge all that to bring it into our whole, bringing in that vertical. So I'm going to talk about moving from the me to the we to the system. So we move to the system by acknowledging the earth energy around us, our natural ecosystem. That's part of the system we're part of. We are on this earth. It's a natural ecosystem. So being able to engage that and even relax into it, talk about a whole bubble, heart bubble. We have that in our natural ecosystem. And growing up, I felt like a misfit often, and I would find my source of energy going into the woods. I got to play in the woods a lot when I was young and felt so great. I have grandkids, and I take them into nature as much as I can, just to give that experience of how nature can embrace us and hold us, and the reality of nature, and how beautiful it is. But there's a real wisdom cycle of energy that moves in the 5 elements. And as you'll see, I created actually a game called Your Wise Moves that uses this system. But how many have seen the 5 element system? Yeah, because it's all over. It's all inside. It's in our the Chinese medicine, astrology, acupuncture. It's in feng shui where I learned it when I saw it, and when I saw it, it was like, oh, that I feel very aligned with that. So what's interesting about it is it's got this beautiful balance going on between the yin and the yang, and it makes it relevant. So we have been a society of doing, being as productive as possible, and that was my role. I was helping people achieve their goals, helping people move toward a common vision. But there's this yin part, paying attention to that decline and that restoration of the metal and the water. Can everyone see that? So metal is decline. It's like fall when the leaves fall off. And water is winter, when we feel that hibernation and we come to stillness. We're not very comfortable with all that. Although as introverts, I am. I mean, that's part of what I love to do. But how do we integrate this in our whole system? How do we move like this and acknowledge this rhythm in a different way so that we acknowledge that yin process, we acknowledge the restorative side. So much good movement already is being made in yoga and different systems. Qigong is doing this, teaching the 5 elements every day. So how do we again bring this forward? And then we move into the yang energy of wood and fire energy, and then we balance in the earth energy we support. So I created a movement, because I love to move, to help us remember how to do this. And this is where, very simply, metal, if you think of your hands, head, heart, hands, hips, hands, if you think of your hands like metal, a rake going through you, you can rake your body and feel everything release. So your hands can be that magnet of just taking things and releasing. That's the metal, helping things let go, helping things decline. So just do that movement with me for a minute. Take whatever you need to let go of. The way you're thinking, the way you're feeling, letting things go. And then you can move into water, where you feel very open. So there's many prescribed movements, but I'm just saying, feel like water. Feel like you're in water. Just noticing that movement. And then we're going to take the seedlings and grow them upward, reaching up to the sun, feeling our seeds get nourished by the sun, the wood growing up, and then we bring that back into us and we embody it. And then we move into the fire. Get everything moving. Everything's moving, and we're actually feeling connected to our whole bodies. And then you come into this earth energy, and you can really come down into this very restorative place. There's so much to say on these, but I wanted to give you the movement. And I've got a song that I do these movements to, so I'd like you to stand up, and we can embody the elements. We can embody this ecosystem, this natural ecosystem together. This is Paul Cardell, and it's called Life and Death, which is our cycle. So we're first going to take the metal, move it down, break through, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go of everything. Letting go of the stress, the hurts, the pain, even the good, just letting it go for now. So you completely feel free, and you can keep just kind of raking through. Starts to kind of shift. Now let's just kind of move into this water. Maybe you're feeling some water and movement. I like to feel my hands moving out, breathing and moving in, just feeling the water. Feel like you're being supported by water. Do that once more, just taking that rake, letting go. Again, everything. We're always having to let go of any thoughts or perceptions or things that are getting in the way. And then you can go into this nice water. Go into total renewal. Feeling this movement. So after the water feeds the seedlings. And they're gentle little seedlings, are insights, and we're taking those little seedlings, we're helping it to grow up. Vertical alignment, feeling the connection to the sun, our higher wisdom. And we bring that back in. So just notice how your breath, your body are all integrating right now. So feeling that movement up. And now you can feel yourself fully grown into a tree and the fire of life just moving. Feeling your head, heart, hips, feeling that movement all integrated. And now you can even take what wisdom you have, you want, and start to spread your joy through your palms of your hands, just feeling that connection. Notice how much more potent. Whew. Again, just letting go, letting go, letting go. Feeling that metal just rake through us and feeling ourselves move into the water. Getting very clear, this is what I am doing. It's my purpose. And how I want to spread my fire and my consciousness. I move it around. I share these seedlings of delight, of love, of joy. Feel your whole body move. Waking up all that stuff, all the pains, the past pains, waking it up, and we're letting nature support us, our natural ecosystem. And one more time, just take your little gifts, spread to each other, palms of your hands. Just notice how that feels. Feeling connected, yes. Share that all with you. You don't even need to talk. We can share our joy. And then you come back to your earth energy. Feel that connection. You've done good. Thank you for moving with me. Cardell. Ooh, whoops, don't go. Oh, come back. So I have been working with 5 mindful moves for over 20 years, taking that into leaders and teams and working, and that's part of the game is taking these 5 mindful moves, making them relevant in how to move and integrate all those aspects. So I won't go into all those details now, but this is us. We get to move into an emerging and co-creative future as we start to align and move together. And we're always creating, so now we can create consciously. That's our transformative moment. We can do this. I like to think of us as, all these little bubbles, vortexes of energy. And that when we start to really get our natural ecosystem moving, much more embodied and potent, and we can bring that healing energy, we can light the fire within others. We can light the light. And just one amidst all that can light a fire. So just one person. I love this. I don't know if you've seen this new book. I just ran across it. The Big Panda said, which is more important, the journey or the destination? And the tiny dragon says, the company. I want to do one more song and get you all moving together because I love the song and there's a video out and these people are great. It's a United Playing for Change, they're called. It's around the world if you've seen these videos, just so cool. But I want to get you up and dancing. So one more step. We're going to do left step, center, center, right step. Center, center, left step, center, center, right step, center, center. So the point is the more that we just move together and have this joy, we can impact each other even greater. So we go left, center, center, right, center, center, left, center, center, right, center, center, left, center, center, right, center, center.
I wanna see the world.
So we're gonna try to do it with them.
I wanna see the world.
Quick, slow. Quick, slow. Quick, slow. Quick,
I wanna
slow.
see the world.
Quick, slow. Quick, slow. Quick, slow. Quick, slow. Quick,
I wanna
slow.
see the world
Quick,
united. Learn to live as one. Zala, gayando, stengeli na bato, bakufela bitumba.
I'm gonna mirror you.
Zongisa, gayando, nagmituna ya bato, bakufela nanzala.
Quick, slow.
Zala, gayando, kokin na bato, bakufela bitumba.
Yeah. You gotta go on. Salsa, you wanna come here?
We have to bring the world together and learn to live as one.
Quick, slow. Quick,
We have to bring the world together and learn to live as one.
Quick, slow. Notice how it feels when we're all moving together. There's a rhythm. We're moving with music.
El instante lo que cuenta.
Slow. And rest into
Vive
it.
sonriendo hasta el
Let your
final.
body rest into it. Don't worry if you're not doing it.
Pero vendrán
Totally on beat.
días de alegría que nadie
Let's just do back and forth now. Slow. Nice. Just get your body moving. You know what this is doing to your brain? It's improving at 76%. There was a 20-year study done by Stanford sneaky way to get you all dancing, huh? So who wants to come to a ballroom dance lesson? Really? You really don't want to. Oh, really? Yeah. I mean, I grew up with ballroom dance because my parents loved it so much. So I had something that was natural inside of me. So when I started to dance, I just fell in love with it. But it's yeah.
What's the name of that video?
United, Playing for Change. You can look up on YouTube, there's just tons. They have so much out right now. They're great. Playing for Change. Yeah, and they're doing a lot of those different songs too. Yeah, but I just love the words to this one. So, yeah, great. Well, thank you. Yeah, let's consciously move forward together, and I hope you found this helpful.
Yeah, we're going to do it. Nice.
Nice. But did you notice too with our hands, look at how much more empowered our hands are when we're all connected. So, yay. Thank you all. What a wonderful time to be together, and we can transform the world one step at a time, one movement at a time, and do it all together. Thank you.